Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome to a Tuesday video. Now what I wanted to do is a bit of a free to play helpful guide in order to prep for Necropolis, which is coming next week. Next Wednesday to be exact, Wednesday the 15th of November. And I thought I'd put together some helpful tips, tricks and kind of preparation when it comes to that particular endgame piece of content. And also this kind of helps for any endgame content when it comes to preparation and the extent of prep. We're going to talk about revive and potion farming, boost farming. We're going to be talking about rank ups and thinking about that. We'll be talking about future planning and why jumping in now with a load of units may not be the best decision. All those things and more. So one thing that I definitely kind of feel is that you can feel very overwhelmed, especially as an endgame player. Like, are you hyped for this? Are you not? Are you a little bit scared? Are you a little bit all those things and more? You know, sometimes I kind of feel like that, like I'm a little all over the shop with how I feel about this particular event, and also being a free-to-play player and maybe kind of going like, okay, well, are all my units going to be devoted to that? Is it important to wait? And these are, you know, very logical and thought through and thoughtful, you know, conversations you must have with yourself. So always think about that when it comes to endgame content. Like, what is your immediate desire to get this done? Is it a case of getting Valiant and be that titleage that you really want to get? Is it a case of looking at it and going like, well, am I just following the flock? And what I could really do is wait and see. Like, I've been farming units as a free-to-play player, as you and I have been doing this year. Do I want to reinvest those units into something like Cyber Weekend? Is it going to be a case that there's a bit of a, not a trap there, but could you be saying to yourself, right, well, Necropolis goes out on the 15th, and then on the 25th of November, or 24th, 25th of November, is when you're going to see those Cyber Weekend deals run for a week. So by jumping into the content, using all your units, trying to get that Valiant, would it be better to kind of like wait to see what some of the offers were on offer then, and then make a decision if it's actually worth it for you to be rushing around? Yes, it will mean that you will only have a week to do the Necropolis, but the same thing that's been laid upon you. Like, Necropolis drops on the 15th, you have 10 days to do Necropolis from a completion standpoint, to then invest in some of the deals, to then access to get the titleage or exploration to get better deals in Cyber Weekend. So Kabam very much have confirmed that we're getting the banquet event, and of course you can make this decision to wait. You don't have to do Necropolis now, especially if it's going to be about getting that title, because at the end of the day, it depends where your kind of grind is. Like, I've put out a process that I want to complete by February 2024. Why? It gives me enough time to clear the Cyber Weekend and banquet deals, which will be very much a case of low effort, maximum spend on my units, but also a time to assess how many units it's going to take me to do a completion. But by that time, I've improved and increased my roster. I may have added an opportunity to get one specific, I don't know, rank 3-7 star, which then allows me to be like one away from the completion. It means I don't have to explore Necropolis early. It means I can just get involved by that. It also means I can assess the banquet deals, the banquet event deals, have a little bit of a play in that, maybe about 10k units, have a bit of fun, and then kind of, again, look towards the new year. What have I been able to get from low effort? And let's face it, Kabam will probably throw that in, because, hey, look, new endgame content November, end of November Cyber Weekend, December banquet event, spendy, rank rewards, and then it's like, okay. Look, we all know the game, we all know how it's played. So with all that being said, if you've got a plan in motion, then what are the best things to kind of like look at to kind of tackle this content? We've got some interesting deep dives and stuff. So one of the first massive recommendations that I have for any free-to-play player or any person that's prepping it, it's not just for free-to-play, but this is a very much free-to-play orientated guide. But yeah, everyone's welcome with it. I really recommend doing what I've been doing for the last year. I think many people have actually said this to me, like going years and years back, especially when it comes to Paragon related ones. But look, you know, Thronebreakers, each equally good and a little bit below a Cavalier. Your 4-hour crystals, make sure to grab them. You might not think that that's much of a thing, but hoard them. They are going to be very helpful for you in the long run. There's a small chance of getting a revive. A lot of times you get energy refills, but look, you can reinvest that into different areas, whether or not you're investing it into battlegrounds whether or not you're doing something which I do most, if not all months, and that is look to 100% as much as possible when it comes to some of the content, the lower content, because I can also fight, especially from Conqueror and low. A lot of people can do that regardless of your progression and standing. With that particular element in mind, what you can do is grab a lot of units. If you're able to do 4 difficulties, that's 600 units right off the bat. That is what? 10 level 2 revives plus the extra, is it 4 on that one? If I can do my maths. 5, sorry, 5. So that's 15. That's 15 revives right there just by doing that. And that could be enough to kind of help you through a particular boss that's annoying. So I do recommend that to kind of like reinvest, grabbing units and that alike. I want to take a big section now to talk about revives and health potions. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will say about revives and health potions being okay. We've got the Apothecary. It's not too great. It's not too bad. Look, it is what it is with it. On a daily basis, you'll be able to pick up 1 level 2 revive. Sometimes you get lucky and get some more. It really does depend. Over a 14-day cycle, that is where your revives will be expiring. So when you go to your stash, which we can see on screen, come on, loading screens with this game. If you go to items and you go right down to the bottom, if you've recently picked up a revive, then it will say 13 days, 24 hours, 14 days, whatever. The same thing goes for the level 2 one, both equally on the same standing. And also when it comes to inventory cap, the most that you can hold of each at each given time is 20. If you've got some in the sigil, I think you're expanded to more, and also you get access to different ones. But when it comes to free to play, you have to be very careful about stash management, which you can see I'm doing an okay job of, but they're going to expire. I've got revives expiring, but it is not a sufficient amount to do endgame content. There will be a big talking point, I think, in the future about the Apothecary and 22-hour solo events. However, in the meantime, once a month you do get level team revive, hoard them. If you get a chance for other revives, hoard them. Try and use the kind of the mediocre ones. But the interesting thing about this is that you can try and plan yourself around a 14-day rotation. Do the 22-hour solo events as much as possible. You can see here we've got hero use on currently whilst I'm recording this video, and I've done the last one, which I'm going to leave for a moment because I need to revert back to that one. Level 2 health, level 2 revives on offer, and also level 4, depending on obviously where you're standing, where you are in the game with the rarity. So a 14-day cycle is really, really important. The idea of going, and here's some interesting stats for you. So at one time, by the way, all information and details are in the description. I'm reading off this. So at one time, you can give yourself a 14-day lead time until when you enter and have access to a potentially 64 revive stash over both types of level 1 and level 2 for the event. So 64 revives you could potentially have when you go in. You may have more. You may grind some other content in that time and have a lot more revives. But that is the bog standard default at the lowest amount by doing solo event and by doing the Apothecary on a daily basis over a 14-day cycle. That's how much you are potentially going to have to do this. So that gives you a bit of a forewarning for it for prep. And that's that. Let's go and talk about unit farming. So unit farming is something that I'm kind of got back into. You can see I'm up to 18,127 units at the point of recording this particular video. My advice with this is use Arena Boost whenever you have an opportunity to do it, and as well find a sufficient time to go and grind units on a daily or weekly basis. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, people don't like it, but those are your choices. Either you, under good conditions, use those 64 revives and you smash it, or you go and grab some more units. And I would recommend that. With this particular event, you may need 10,000 units, you may need 5,000 units, you may need 2,000 units. I don't know. I can't predict the future. But what I want to present to you is the idea of, hey, go out and do this. It's very easy to do some of the trials and pick up a good chunk of units. It is quite possible to do that. The same way when it comes to doing, the features and the basics. If you're looking for an expectation of how many units you could potentially get on a weekly basis, in some cases I've been able to do, if I really push, 2,000 units on a week with good RNG. Some people have done a little bit more, some people have done a little bit less. On a lower case, 1,000 units. And again, to point out for you when it comes to the extent of farming that, then, 2,000 units. I mean, look, we've got a calculator here. 2,000 units divided by 40 is 50 revives. So you could have 50 revives plus the 64, and that will give you 114, revives total. You may not need that many. You may need a lot more. And if you need a lot more, then of course you've got that 64 plus whatever units that you farm for it. Even a worst case scenario, if like you have a bad day, and I've had terrible days. I've had really good days where I'm just like, man, I'm swiping like, the best. But then sometimes I have bad days. Then it's a different case. If you need 10,000 units, then it's going to be like 250 revives plus the 64. You'd be going into the Necropolis with 314 units. It does depend on the situations. We've got the AI improvement that's meant to be coming in, if it has come in. Next up, let's talk about boosts. Okay, going into these particular solo crystals, they're fantastic. I love these boosts. They're great for adding in if you just want to do a bit of damage, but this is better when you're doing endgame content. They're not usable in battlegrounds. I learned that recently because, hey, reading's a thing. But yeah, like you can pop these open. I hoard a load of those and I just use them when I need to when it comes to endgame content. Well, actually when I'm doing story quests, maybe sometimes when I want to do like have a bit more kind of punch and crunch with event quest, it really does depend on the time and the occasion, but I would recommend holding on to them. And as well, they give out stuff like arena boosts, which can be then recycled back into your arena grind. And I would recommend that, especially if you're looking to do a load of farming of units, want to save your time. And as well, it's a case of like with people having the sigil and having the as arena express mode, then it's like, look, free to play needs something in order to kind of get this done. So one of the final things is ranking champions up. A lot of the time I have been seeing recently on the forums that players are like, okay, well, I'm ranking up this, I'm ranking up that, I'm ranking up this, I'm ranking up that. I would recommend waiting, and I would recommend experimenting. So getting into the content, trying it for yourself, reading the traps, because that's something as well, like reading the intricacies about this and how it goes from fight to fight. Are you going to need something that's inverted controls? You don't like reverse controls, inverted controls when it comes to the Grandmaster. Are you going to have a counter for that? Maybe not. Is it going to be very synergy based when it comes to the team that you create? Yes, no. You're going to need specific relics in order to kind of boost those champions. These are going to be key questions. There's going to be a lot of depth to making the right decision rather than seeing everybody go, oh, just rank up Baron Zemo, right? That may not help the entire community when it comes to making decisions. Your decision, and you may not have Baron Zemo, so you're kind of thinking like, well, what's the best answer here? Always make those decisions. I could be like, well, I'm going to rank 3 my bishop and go in with my rank 3 7-star bishop when the time comes, and that's going to do damage. I don't know. This is why it's important to just check it out, make assessments, make mistakes. Go and test things out and give it a go. But hopefully this helped in order to prep you when it comes to getting the resources to go and do it in the best conditions, but also, thinking about champions. Hold back resources to make rank ups. Going, okay, right, well, I want to get the Valiant. Okay, well, what you need to do is you will need to have a rank 2 7-star in order to make a rank 3. Well, I've just blasted all that on a rank 5 6-star. That's something that I'm making the decision now, is not to rank 5 any 6-star from now until I actually know that I'm going to have the resource. Like, am I going to get enough in order to, am I going to get any tier 4 alpha? Am I yes? Am I no? I'm making those decisions. So it's very important to kind of like do that and think about the future when it comes to making easier rank ups and potentially different ways of getting Valiant, depending on what you and how you want to take this on. But that's been the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Check out the information in the description and see some other content on screen. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.